amateur work.
Silicone.
It's good amateur work, but it's still amateur.
Always.
Another episode of Mountaineer Kingdom Dude Talk, Real Men, Manly Talk.
Hi.
Man.
Hi.
Jared's
New place.
Feeling the new mics and not new mics, but new cameras.
New areas.
Speaking to everybody.
Do the white noise again. He actually did it. Thank you. Now we got our own sound effects.
Well,
Man,
wait
if we
a
only had a soundboard
I'm not. No.
that wasn't highly annoying.
Which app is it? And I'll pull it up.
Nope.
I'll do it.
Nope.
It is good to be back. Good
Don't
to be
touch it.
recording. When we left, we were starting to do some just one-on-one interviews, getting to know the guys around the table a little bit. And today our lucky winner is Ryan Newsom. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Doing well. I think it's always interesting to get a little more information on the people that we hope you listen to. Oh no!
Why do I get the sappy music?
I don't know why we got to play random sounds into the
Reminds me of my
microphone.
childhood.
Please, no. We're done with that. Mute him already. I'm
gosh,
telling you.
he's giggles.
No, mute him. We're going to throw another episode away. Started out so well. I wish we
I
edited.
muted him.
I
We
wish-
don't edit. That's our.
I wish we did
That's
now.
our
That's our
shtick.
shtick.
We do it live.
All right, so we're getting to know Ryan a little bit. Mr. Ryan, tell us where you're from. Where were you born, buddy?
I am from a small town, West Virginia.
You don't want to give the name?
Shinston.
Yeah.
I'm from Shinston.
So I was driving through there the other day.
Yeah.
You went to
Lincoln
High School. You were on the football team.
I was.
Did you guys ever run in the huge graveyard? Like, did they have you
No.
doing any?
No. We used to run a big hill back in the day, but then they outlawed that.
It just seemed like that would be a perfect place across from the high school for
A
you
lot of
guys
people
to-
do walk and run there, but no, as far as football, no.
What was that like growing up in a small town?
It was great. Shinston is a very, very nice town, small town feel. Everybody knows everybody and safe. Just it's a great place. I loved it.
Yeah. And when did you guys move away from there?
Well, I went away to college, and then my parents bought a house and left Shinston, but not too far away. And then after I graduated college, I moved to Fairmont.
Okay. You have how many siblings?
2 older sisters.
You're the baby?
I'm the baby.
I thought you were the middle for some reason. You have like complete middle child syndrome vibe going on.
Dang.
No, I'm the baby, but somehow I turned into the older big brother. You know what I mean?
That's
when you
weird.
have 2 sisters, and I look older than both of them, so it just kind of falls in place. It's the beard.
Yeah.
Now, my sissies are very pretty women. They've aged well, and I'm not.
You've not. With being the youngest, were you the favorite?
They would say so. I mean,
Yeah, they would.
there's years between us, so it wasn't like it was ever a competition. You know, my older sister's 9 years older than me, and then my next sister's 5 years older than me, so we never had to compete with one another in high school sports and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was when I was doing my thing, it was just me. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like all my sports, it was just me. High school sports, just me. So they would say I was the favorite. Now I'm definitely the favorite now, because I just know how to talk to my parents. They don't.
Dang.
You can unmute him now. His punishment's over.
I know the love language.
And he mutes himself right. Oh man, I think I hit a nerve over there. No, he's starting to giggle again. I'm glad we did that. How many sport was it just football, or did you do about everything?
I played every sport, and then at the end of my freshman year, decided not to play basketball anymore, which I don't know why. I just didn't.
Yeah.
But football and baseball are my sports.
Now I know you're a huge LeBron fan.
No, I'm not.
So LeBron or Jordan?
Jordan,
Easy, right?
easy.
Magic or LeBron?
Magic or LeBron?
Uh-huh.
Magic, because I hate LeBron.
Even in talent.
I don't hate LeBron. Strongly dislike.
Strong dislike.
What about
Strong.
Bird or LeBron?
Bird.
Yeah. Larry Bird was a bad man.
Yeah.
So the youngest of 3, and you went to college for?
Advertising and business.
And well, you do business, but no advertising. Did you ever get anything out there?
No, not really. all your life you're told to get a college education, you'll get a job and all this stuff. When I graduated, I moved away and tried to get into some advertising firms, and that's a tough gig to get into. One, they rarely are hiring, and two, they want your experience.
Yeah.
Even at entry-level positions. I went to interview for entry-level positions. They said I had no experience.
Yeah, you have to
Right.
get an internship while you're in college.
Yeah, it's tough. And then the one place that actually gave me an opportunity was one. I was working in a restaurant, and this advertising firm came in to do a commercial for the restaurant. And I approached the owner and said, I have a degree. I'm trying to get on, yada, yada, yada. He kind of blew me off. And but he did give me his card. And so I would just randomly email him every 3 or 4 weeks or something like that, just kind of saying, hey, I'm still interested. And so my persistence got me an interview, and he offered me a job, but it was straight commission, no base pay whatsoever. And he said, I don't have time to teach you anything around here. You're to the wolves. And so as a young graduate, they kind of terrified me.
It's
to be honest with you.
intimidating. Yep.
Yeah. In a new city that I wasn't familiar with, too, it was terrifying.
So before we jump into the college years, do you have a memory? Give me a memory, good and bad, that sticks out from childhood.
Well, because I love sports. Baseball, our 12-year-old year, I remember vividly talking to my friends. There was an old, I want to date myself, but VHS. There was an old video tape of the Little League World Series that I would watch every pre-baseball season. There was movies I'd watch. That one, Major League, Field of Dreams, and The Natural. I'd watch all those to get all psyched up for baseball. And so my buddies watched that video also. And so we were just talking before the season even started. Wouldn't it be cool if we made it to the state tournament? Because at that time, it hadn't happened for a long time.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we made it. We made All-Stars, and we went to the state tournament and won a close one, but it was fun. So that was a fun time. So that's a good memory.
Something that sticks out from childhood that wasn't the best experience, but may have shaped who you are, that sticks out, or say, no, life is perfect.
I really hate to say that, but I mean, I haven't had a whole lot of hardship. I mean, I'm thankful, and it's all praise and glory to the Lord. My mom and dad found the Lord early in life. And even my wife's mom and dad. So even to this day, that doesn't mean I haven't had illnesses or death in the family or something like that. But it was always my mom's mom and dad died when I was young, but they loved the Lord, and it was coped with the fact that we knew they were in heaven. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like, I was sad, of course, losing grandparents at a young age, but a bad experience, I really can't think of a bad moment necessarily.
No, that's good. It's a blessing. Let's jump to college. You went to
WVU.
Did you play sports in college?
I wouldn't call it a sport. I'll be honest with you.
What'd you do?
Well, first I walked onto the football team, so I just want to point that out there.
WVU football is not a sport.
Do you see how this is? He's building this up.
I'm building it up. But I did walk on to the football team. That was a neat experience how that all fell into place. But I walked on as a long snapper. For those that don't know, special teams, for when you punt, long snapper snaps ball to the punter. I was good at that. I did that for a few weeks, but I wasn't able to continue because of my grades in college. I wasn't much of a studious person my freshman year of college. But then somehow I got in the mix of being a male cheerleader.
We're not judging.
I called myself a stunt man.
A stunt man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was fun, though. I enjoyed it for some reason. It came naturally to me. I don't know why, being able to do the stunts with everybody. But the cool thing about that was I got to go to every away game for football. So I saw a lot of cool stadiums, a lot of great games, bowl games, and, of course, basketball games also. So met a lot of people through it.
So were you more of, I don't even know what, you're going to have to educate me on this one. Were you more base, like the base of the formations?
Yeah.
Did you do any of the?
All the men on the team we had a partner. So it wasn't a base of group, whatever you want to call it, group formations. See, that's how
It's been a minute.
yeah.
So, Josh, I guess I'm trying to wrap my head around how you thought somebody's gonna like throw Ryan.
No,
in the
not
air
throw
and,
him, but I didn't know if you did
I was
any
a
of.
flyer.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't know if you did any of the gymnastics side of it.
Oh no. I was 6'3", 225 pounds back in that day. I still couldn't flip. Good Lord, what would it look like today? But no, I was just strictly stunt. And during games, our coaches always wanted us to do a lot of motions and stuff. But me and my buddies, we watched the games. Now, when we had to do like timeout, I don't even know. I forget what to call them, but we'll call them performances, timeout things. We'd have to go do the motions and stuff like that. So learning those motions is awkward, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Going from being a football and baseball player to doing arm motions for cheerleading.
Did you do the high kick?
No, the dudes didn't do that.
What?
Just arms.
I just did the arm thing.
No spirit fingers either. I'll tell you that. Go ahead.
Come on.
Nope.
Not even once.
No.
They do it now.
Do it live.
Well, then they're not men. What?
No, you do it right now live.
What?
Spirit-
I'm not doing spirit fingers.
I think we hit something. He has to. He has to make sure he can still feel his limbs. What changed your perspective going into it? Hey, I'm a walk-on football. I was always a real sporty guy. What changed when you started cheering? What was the biggest perspective change for you?
Well, it's not as easy as people would think, to be honest with you. I was always an athlete. I was always in good shape. But when I started doing that, I'll never forget how sore I was at the beginning of it, because you use totally different muscles. Every sport, you're going to use different muscles than you do for a previous sport. And it was crazy, the muscles that you used that you didn't know that you used.
Or you even had?
Yeah, I mean, really. A lot of legs, a lot of back strength, and then even shoulders, because there was a lot of, for the dudes, it was a lot of from here, extending and flicking up to get the girls up to the hands position. But
A lot of coordination too, I'd imagine.
balance, core strength.
Yeah.
So one of the things, just to touch on it, was it was a big deal within the male cheerleader realm. It was called a Cupid contest, and that was where you would hold both girls' feet in one hand and hold it above your head, and who could hold it the longest. And so for my 3 football seasons, me and my buddy, we never lost. We demolished teams that usually never lost, like Louisville. They're known to be like competition style teams where they beat people all over the country. Didn't have a chance against us.
That's cool.
And I know you remember it if you know the Mountaineers back in 2000 and 2003. They're still sore about it.
All right, YouTube fans, find these clips.
I don't know if there's any clips. I mean, they probably see some sideline stuff in games.
Yeah. He's going to find it right now.
So I will tout a little bit. So I don't think anybody's done it since me, but I was the first person at WVU to do what's called a triple QP.
Okay.
That was 3 girls above my head at once.
One hand.
No, well, 2 hands.
Yeah.
But
That's impressive.
3 girls above my head at once. So, I mean, they weren't heavy girls by any means, but still 3 of them, it was about 350 pounds.
I don't know why I just got an image of the movie Dodgeball. the movie Dodgeball, when he goes.
Oh yeah.
He goes
that
in, and it's
competition
like
guy.
it's really easy to. Anyways, great movie.
Yeah.
You can dodge a wrench. You can dodge a ball.
So did you cheered your entire
Is it
college
necessary
career?
to drink my own urine? No.
But I like the
And
taste.
it's sanitary.
Terrible.
What?
Did you cheer the entire college career?
No. 3 football seasons and 2 basketball seasons, and I was just done.
Your story of when you realized you need to get back to Christ is interesting. Will you share that with us?
Sure. At a young age, I gave my heart to the Lord. At a still young age, but older age, gave my heart to the Lord. About 25, 30 times probably. But it never really took, because it was just one of those, it was an emotional kind of thing. I grew up in a godly home. I believed in heaven and hell. I knew right from wrong. High school, I didn't get in too much trouble, if any, to be honest with you. But college came, and I did some stupid stuff. But then my senior year, I was in a bar, And I know now it was the Holy Spirit, but then I wasn't sure what it was. It was just a feeling that came over me. But I said, the voice from what I heard was, what are you doing with your life? You're not going anywhere if you're going to continue doing the things that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a bad person, but I was partying a lot, to be honest with you. And
What's a lot?
a lot,
Okay.
yeah.
A good bit.
But I'll never forget though, and one of my friends was there, and he recounts this. I looked him right in the eye. I said, "I'm done. I'm graduating here shortly. I'm not drinking anymore. I'm not doing the things that I'm doing. I'm getting right." And a year and a half, 2 years after that, we were talking. He said, "You remember that conversation?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You really did it. You really changed." And I said, "It wasn't because of me.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Lord." So it was in the middle of a bar. The Holy Spirit spoke to me and asked me a question: "What are you doing with your life?"
Yeah. And it can
So,
change like that.
Yeah.
If you had a do-over in college,
It's always an
would you
interesting
take
question.
it, or would you, hey, this is where I am?
It's an interesting thought, interesting question. I think everybody would say I would do some things differently.
Mm-hmm.
But then you look at where you're at now, and I mentioned in one of our previous podcasts, we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And from when people can come from things and be delivered from things because of the power of Christ, I really think that speaks to a lot of people dealing with those type of things.
Mm-hmm.
With is empathy, because you can relate.
Yep.
So if someone is saying, "I'm struggling with this and struggling with that," and a person that's never gone through it says, "You'll be okay, just give it to the Lord," they're like, "You don't know this." Well, I do know this.
Yeah.
Yeah, every scar is a bridge to someone's broken heart.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good.
And that's always an interesting phrase, is give it to the Lord. How do you do that? I
Yeah,
know how you
yeah,
do
yeah,
that,
yeah.
but so from college you moved to, was it Alabama?
Alabama. I did that because I loved my friends. Some of them were like family, but they were still on the path that I wanted to get off of.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that I need, from my personality, I didn't have an addictive personality, which is great, but I had a loyal personality. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And if I stuck around, I wouldn't have been able to get away from it as I did. So I moved there because my oldest sister lives there. So it was a bridge. I was almost going to say crutch, but it was like one of those things where I want to go somewhere where I'm away, but also have somewhere where I can go and feel comfortable, I guess.
And you moved back. When you moved back, why did you move back?
Because the Lord spoke to me again
Say, go home.
to marry Mandy.
So you had the idea of marrying her in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, that's my girl, I'm going back.
So we've known each other since we were 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in Alabama, and I was seeking the Lord, and so she worked for my dad in the summers because she's a teacher and was a teacher, and so I'd always call and talk to Dad, but she would answer, and so we'd have small conversations. But then the Lord was putting her on my heart like crazy, and so one day, about 4 months before I even moved home, I said, "Hey, I'm moving home shortly." She's like, "Oh yeah, what are you gonna do?" I said, "I'm gonna marry you." And she said, "What?" She had a boyfriend.
Idiot.
She had a boyfriend. We never dated. We always had a flirty relationship, but never dated. And she had a boyfriend of 2 years. Nice guy. He really was. Is probably. I don't know. I don't know him anymore, but he was nice. Anyway, she was mad because she would admittedly say to this. I'm not making this up. She would say this, that she would have dated me at any time,
Mm-hmm.
going through high school and stuff. Whereas I would say probably I wouldn't have dated her. Not that I wouldn't have, but it was just like I lived in Shinson, she lived in Fairmont. It was just a flirty thing for me.
Yep.
But anyway, that whole chestnut was really, really cool because after a month of being home, well, when I got home, I called her and said, "I'm home." She's like, "So?" I was like,
Okay, right.
"Yeah." And she was like, "I don't even want to talk to you." For a whole month, I just let
Oh, you
go.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I let go and I let God, and a month later she called me. She said, "We need to talk." So we talked one night, and she broke up with her boyfriend the next day, and a few weeks later, I took her on our actual first date. When I say first date, we would hang out with friends and stuff, group settings. I took her to dinner and proposed.
So how long were you in a relationship before you proposed?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. That's why I'm trying to do some math here. I'm like, wait a minute, that was
About 3 weeks.
I thought there
almost
was
a month.
more of a wow.
No, but
But you knew each other for a long time.
Yeah, and my dad always said to me when I was growing up, don't ever date someone you wouldn't consider marrying. And when you're young and dumb and full of ambition,
Yeah.
you think you know everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how would I know I want to date or marry someone unless I date them? That was my mindset. But when you're an adult and you're seeking the Lord and you're hearing Holy Spirit wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, I know what he means now. So I just knew, because you're not only marrying the person, you're marrying the family, you're marrying the lifestyle, you're marrying the generational curse or blessing
Mm-hmm.
of that person. So, I was like, oh yeah, I'm marrying this woman.
Very cool. Very cool. And then you've been married for how long?
15 years.
Does it seem like it?
No, really doesn't. Age is just a number. Every year goes by is nothing to me, to be honest with you. A lot of people dwell on, oh my gosh, another year's down on my another birthday. It's a number. I still feel like I'm a 13-year-old idiot in my brain. And we act it a lot. We act like it a lot.
So my wife told me, she goes, Jared, you're 12. Everyone else you hang out with, they're 10.
Oh no.
Yeah,
you
are not more mature than us. I'll tell you that right now.
Negative.
I thought she was smart.
Negative.
I thought she had an education. So married, several kids later,
55 of them.
having your business,
A little.
serving the Lord. Can you tell us of a struggle in adulthood that the Lord brought you through? Even if it's in personal or your work life, because everybody has a testimony, and I guess that's my question, is when you go to tell your testimony, what is that?
Probably in adulthood, business. It's a family-owned business, and we were hit with a fine. We got DOT audited one time, and it was large. We're a small company.
Mm-hmm.
So that was definitely an attack from the enemy. So we had to really bear down and trust the Lord. And so we've been around for 76 years, and that's because of God's goodness.
Mm-hmm.
And then to be able to do that with your dad, who also has faith, it really means a lot, because we're encountered a lot by people that say, how do you guys do this? We'd be pulling our hair out if things were going on like things go on. Trucking business is tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's expensive. But God, the Bible says if we tithe and we give, that he will rebuke the devourer for our sake. And I can't tell you how many times that's happened.
Or probably wouldn't even know how many times it's been prevented that you don't know about.
Yeah, right.
So that's your testimony, is obviously trusting the Lord and follow the Lord. You're talking to your grandkids, and they're going to tell stories about Papaw one day. What do you want your legacy to be?
As me, as a papaw?
At the end of your life, you look back, this is my legacy. What do you want it to say?
I want my kids to tell their kids that their papaw was an honest man. He had integrity. He loved the Lord. He loved his family. He worked hard, played hard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just want to be remembered as, I think for me, honesty is a big thing, and I stress that to the kids. I want to be remembered as an honest person.
There you go. Thanks, Sharon. I always think...
Who's Sharon?
Sharon? Thanks for sharing that. We know each other pretty well, but there's always a nugget when you dive into stuff like this that people kind of remember as they go along. It's always fun to get to know.
The 3 weeks courting of Mandy, I think that's a pretty good nugget.
That was interesting.
You guys never knew this?
No.
I knew it was a short time. I didn't realize it was that short.
Yeah, it was about 3 weeks to a month or something like that. It was very, very short time.
Hey,
You failed to share that when you were doing your bio for for the marriage class that you taught.
The
there
Songs of
for-
Solomon?
I know that. I know that I told it along the way, but
I only went like twice. So I mean,
yeah.
So he goes twice, and it's your fault that he doesn't get all the
Right.
information.
Well, his marriage is perfect. He didn't
And
need to go
you're
that
the
fast.
12-year-old, and we're 10. I was
started
offended
doing-
by that.
I started doing other things.
So
in the church.
One more funny thing about that is, I bought the ring. I asked permission from her dad because that's what it's kind of.
What was that conversation like?
It was good. I mean, honestly, our family's been friends for that long too. You guys know her dad, but he's a very, very kind man. Very loving, loves the Lord, loves his family, and he loved me before me was family. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Well, you know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
he loved me. He would have probably done anything for me, even before Manny and I were together. And I can go into another story here in a minute about that. But so I asked permission. I bought the ring because at the end of the day, permission doesn't matter. You're gonna marry who you want to. You're adults. But I asked for permission, and he's like, it's a little early, don't you think? A little quick. And so at that time, it was like near the end of March, and I was like, well, I'm not going to propose now. I think I wanted to propose at the beach or something. We're going to go to the beach this summer. I think I want to propose. And then he's like, oh, all right, yeah. Well, obviously you have my blessing. That ring was burning a hole in my sock drawer. I looked at it every night.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you can call me sappy or weird or whatever, but I looked at that ring every night. Could not wait to put it on her finger. I'm gonna cry. Jeez, Louise.
Here we go. This is the good stuff.
This is where you get rejuvenated for your relationship. You know what I mean? When you talk about stuff, you get.
It takes you back, and it makes
Don't
you
zoom in on
appreciate. Zoom in right on that left eye. It makes you
Right on the left.
He knew exactly what I was doing too.
it makes you appreciate when you
Sure.
can relive it, what it was
Absolutely.
like, and it kind of rekindles that.
Rekindles
and
that
it's
fire.
important.
She gonna get it.
Real men manly talk. See, this is what when dudes get emotional, you gotta cut the tension. So you look at the ring every night, burning a hole.
I just snorted.
I know.
I don't snort. Yeah, I looked at the ring every night, and I looked at the ring every night, and I literally, I don't even remember like what it might have been days, a few days, maybe a week. It might have been about a week. I called her mom. I said, "Hey, you remember I was going to do this in July? Well, I'm doing it tonight." And she's like, "Okay," and she didn't care. She's like, "Okay," and I said, "We told Jeff?" She's like, "He won't care, but yeah, I'll tell him." So yeah, I took her out to dinner on the first date. But going back to how her dad loved me anyway, but there was a time where just a funny story about my dad and her dad. They were boating one time on the river, and they were coming home at night. Couldn't hardly see. And my dad was driving his boat, and he was going, I don't know, probably 35 miles an hour. I think it was at top speed for that boat. And all of a sudden, the boat stops. Dead. Stop. And they are like, what in the world? And Dad's like, what happened? What did we hit? And Jeff looked over and said, land. So there's like a river gravel deposit that comes out in the river. You guys know the river. And Dad full sent that boat. Not an inch was in water. Not an inch. Not an
okay.
inch. So I'm in college.
So he hit hard.
Yeah, I'm in college. Dad calls me at 1:30 in the morning, and obviously I was at the library studying for my statistics exam. And Dad says, I remember these words vividly. He said, "I need you here at this time. Don't ask questions." And I'm not saying this, but I was a good son. I never asked questions. I had that fear of my dad, you know. I said, I'll be there. And so I showed up, and Jeff was there too. And again, I was a long session of studying, so I was tired. And I get there, and we waller that boat off as much as we could, and then we had to actually get another boat to pull us off because we tried.
What's waller?
Well, we tried to use. There's a name for it, but the lever action on a big rock and a big board. We tried to rock it off because it was close enough to the water, but it wasn't touching water, you know. Anyway, we got the thing off, and Jeff told Dad, he's like, that was the moment that I loved Ryan even more, because he's like, he said that really spoke a lot to him of my character, and just me and Dad's relationship that we had. Like, there was no questions asked. I went, and then later asked, what in the world happened? But at that moment, Dad wanted that boat back in the water before daylight.
Didn't want nobody to see it.
I thought we were wrapping up, but now it's reminding me of some things that you're diving into.
It was funny to hear Jeff tell me that story.
Oh, you know the story?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
When you think back, and you said what you wanted your legacy to be, what? I've met your dad a couple of times. Fun dude, especially at some of the events. It's like I get that. I get his thought. What stands out about your dad? Like, what are you when you think of your dad? He was the best man at your wedding, right?
Yeah. He's my best bud. I'll cry again. Jeez whiz. So
zoom in.
No, don't zoom in.
The right eye. We got the
so
left one.
when I was a kid, and I do this with my boys, but when I was a kid, Dad would always say to me, "Who's your best bud?"
Yeah.
So obviously I was like, "You are." So that was our thing. It was a very loving family, very huggy family. We hugged each other. We love each other. We said I love you, but that was like I love you. Like, who's your best bud? Like, out of nowhere, that was like, I'm just telling you I love you without saying I love you. You know what I mean? So when I asked him to be my best man, go ahead.
You can talk in the mic.
No, people see me cry. So
it's good for views.
He would say, "Who's your best bud?" And I would say, "You are." That was our I love you. And so when I asked him to be my best man, we were around a campfire, and I said, "Hey, do you know?" Jeez. Next question. No.
Don't ask me about this.
I said, "You know how you used to ask me who's your best bud?" And he said, "Yeah."
Nothing like this is the importance of fathers and being a man.
Where's the violin sound bit?
No. So I said, "Ask me who's your best man."
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, that almost got me. You've worked together for a long time. You have a close bond, and
since I was 9, I've been working at the family business, doing all kinds of things, trucking with them, plowing snow, doing random things, and that's what you got to do as a father.
Yeah.
You learn by what your dad shows you, and then your kids learn by what you show them. And even if you're not showing them that how to do certain things, taking them with you is showing them you're going to work.
Yeah.
And so his legacy was he taught me how to work. He taught me how to love his kids, love my kids. Based on how he loved us. So
yeah, one of the things my dad always would say to us, and it would hurt me every time, but now I realize it. I'm like, Dad, what do you want? What do you expect of us when we grow? He goes, I just want you to be better than I am.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Dad, nobody's better than you. And like that hurt me that he thought that way of himself,
right.
But it wasn't him belittling himself. He just wanted his kids to be better. And the reason I kind of felt I didn't want to pry into this, but this is
good.
important because what a godly man can do in the home and how it affects generations, it's unmatched.
Yeah.
And there is a difference of being a man in the house and then being a man in the house that has a relationship with Jesus. Big difference. You can be a body that's just there, or you can be setting examples. And I'm not saying that you relaxing at the house at night, is a bad thing.
Right.
But what we're doing with our kids is important because I think we learn a lot more lessons by watching our fathers than them just saying, hey, remember this one day. Especially as a couple years ago, I volunteered and went to a kids camp, and I've done my time. I don't think I'll ever go back, but it was eye-opening when Skip went 1 year, and he pulled some of the male chaperones aside and said, what these boys are learning from just watching you praise and worship the Lord when you put your hands in the air.
For sure.
It's pivotal, and we need more men. And I'm not talking about toxic masculinity, although I think that's getting.
Well, the word toxic is from the left, and it's making masculinity a bad thing.
Yeah.
So toxic means nothing in my mind. It's just we're not to be overly man, but do this because you get hair on your chest, but just be a man.
Be a man that the Bible describes us to be and calls us to be. That's important. And I think, honestly, that's one of our big missions here is to have real manly conversations and bring back or to take back what the enemy has stolen from us.
Yeah.
There's a way to do this, and it's fathers are so important, and I'm not saying mothers are not.
Well, I was going to say, my dad was pivotal for me to learn how to be a man, but my mom and my two sisters were pivotal to show me how to treat women.
Yeah. And,
the family unit is important, whether people will say it or not. Yes, you can get by and you can survive because there are a lot of single family homes.
Sure.
Sadly. It can be done, but it's harder.
Yeah.
And you're going to miss some of those things, whether you believe it or not or know it or not. You're going to miss some of the things that you learn with a mother and a father in the household.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, we're all men here and we can be touched and we can cry. There's 3 reasons I cry. When the Holy Spirit comes on me, talking about my family, or when I'm mad. Now, the last one, you don't want to be near me. If I'm crying mad, it's something to get broke. But it's okay to cry when you're a man. And it's okay to admit that you cry. And it's okay to be crying over things that happened 15 years ago or over your, how much you love your dad or your mom. It's okay.
Yep. Agreed. Those are the good ones. This is why I feel like if I get a kick out of your personality, and if I'd have known you in college or high school, I don't know what that would have been like, because I like to encourage people and to maybe stir the pot a little bit. It'd have been interesting.
You never do that.
Ever. But anyways, that's it, man. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, no
being
problem.
honest, being vulnerable. You're up, Nick.
Just stir the pot a little bit?
What? Just a little, just to see what happens.
Bull better.
Yeah, there we go. We brought it out.
A little bit per hour, maybe.
Okay.
Per second.
Made me sound like a bad person here.
If you'd like to learn more about us, make sure you I'll get right into it. Visit our website at mkdudtalk.com.
This is worse than the soundboard.
Cam.
Yep. That's how you get right out of the tier session.
Share,
like, subscribe, all that crab, whatever you want to call it. If you want to get in touch with us, go to our email.
You got to work on this closing.
Yeah, it's pushing.
Not cynical at all.
mkdudtalk@gmail.com. Andy's not here to do all of his whatever the crap he does with our.
Yeah, we're new year, new look. We're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
We've grown. We're not immature.
No.
And just wait till when he is here, though.
No.
It's going to be a way above and beyond.
He'll still pocket sand and pocket farts and whatever he does. I'm sorry, that one day it looked like he was putting poop out there. He was pulling it out of his butt.
How do we get a new place and get less professional?
I don't know.
So you had a great interview, and I'm sorry that it was ruined by this.
I'm just still on she gonna get it.
Can't wait to watch this. I'm gonna walk by and just have that sound clip.
I can't wait to watch the
Short.
the group chat after it airs.
Yeah. Keep us posted.
She don't got it. Anyways, website, mkdudtalk.com. Email, mkdudtalk@gmail.com.
You can't even do it.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's hard, but we can't say that. For the yes man, Jared, of course, for the
out.
always absent Andy, we don't know where he's at. He's always absent, AAA.
No, his brother is getting baptized today.
Well, we said that the last episode.
I just want you to pay attention, that's all.
No, we said that the last episode. I was trying to go that he's always absent.
Yeah, we're not quite sure which sequence these episodes are going to
Just
air.
trying to keep it streamlined.
We're not streamlined. He's absent. He's always absent. That's where we're going with this. The coach Ryan, the host Josh. He's not going with me here. We don't know who I am yet. That's yet to be seen.
Nerdy Nick.
We
need a name for
comments
him.
for Nick.
O2D2.
O2D2.
I like that one. That might be it.
Comment names for Nick.
Roll music.
We're retarded.
It was better than the intro.
Causing dissension and argument.
Endings is what makes it funny though. It's our stupid band.
Us.
Well, I didn't realize I was going to get all teary-eyed and mushy. Sorry.
Oh.
I thought there was a chance.
There's always a chance.